Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to give a brief explanation about the poem Telephone Conversation by Oli Soinka. The poem Telephone Conversation was written in 1963 by the Nigerian author Oli Soinka, which parodies prejudice. Oli Soinka was born on 13th July 1934. He is a Nigerian playwright, novelist, poet, and essayist in the English language. He was awarded the 1986 Nobel Prize in Literature for his world cultural perspective and poetic overtones, fashioning the drama of existence. The poem Telephone Conversation recounts a conversation about renting an apartment over the phone between the speaker, who is of black origin, and the landlady, who is white. When she finds out that the speaker is African, the landlady, who has been friendly up until then, asks to know how light or dark the speaker's complexion is. The speaker deftly responds by making fun of the landlady's bigotry and ignorance, proving that defining people only based on the color of their skin is inhumane. So now let's look into the poem. Here I'll read the first 5 lines. The price seemed reasonable, location indifferent. The landlady swore she lived off premises. Nothing remained but self confession. Madam, I want. I hate a wasted journey. I'm African. So now let me explain these lines. The first 5 lines, we see that the speaker feels that it seemed like a good price to offer and the location was fine. The landlady promised that she didn't live in the building. The only thing left was to confess something important about himself. Ma'am, I want the landlady. I don't want to waste a trip over there. Just so you know, I'm black. Let's look at the next few lines. Silence. Silence transmission of pressurized good breeding. Voice when it came. Lipstick coated. Long gold ruled. Cigarette holder pipped. Caught eye was foully. How dark I had not misheard. Are you light or very dark? Button B, button A, stench of rancid breath of public hide and speak. Now, let me explain these lines. As soon as the narrator admits that he is black, there was a silence on the phone. In that silence, he could hear the tension between the landlady's prejudice and her manners. When she finally spoke, she sounded like the kind of person who would be wearing a thick smear of lipstick and have a long gold coated cigarette holder in her mouth. Now he was stuck in a horrible position. How dark are you? She asked bluntly. It took him a second to realize that he hadn't misheard her. She repeated, are you light skinned or very dark skinned? It was like she was asking him something as simple as choosing between button A and button B on the telephone booth to make a call or to return his coins. He could smell her rancid breath hiding beneath her polite speech. Red booth, red pillar box, red double tired omnibus squelching tar. It was real, shamed by ill mannered silence, surrender, pushed dumbfounded to beg simplification. Considerate she was, varying the emphasis, are you dark or very light? Revelation came. So here, let me explain. He took a sort stock of his surroundings where he finds a red phone booth, a red mailbox, a red double-decker bus, its tires squelching through the hot asphalt. So this kind of thing was what actually happening. Feeling ashamed at his rude silence, he gave in and asked, utterly confused, baffled, and shocked for clarification. She was nice enough to swap around the order of the words in the question. Are you dark skinned? She asked, or very light. Finally, it makes sense to him. You mean like plain or milk chocolate? Her accent was clinical, crushing in its light impersonality. Rapidly, wavelength adjusted, I chose West African sepia, and as afterthought, down in my passport, silence for stereoscopic flight of fancy, till truthfulness clanged her accent. So now in these lines, we can see how he's trying to figure out what exactly the landlady means. He's asking her, are you asking if my skin is the color of regular chocolate or milk chocolate? Her confirmation was detached and formal, devastating in how thoughtless and impersonal she sounded. He quickly changed his tactics and chose an answer. My skin color is West African sepia. And then, as an afterthought, he adds, at least that is how it is mentioned in my passport. Then there was silence again as she imagined all the possible colors he might be referring to. But then her true feelings took over and she spoke harshly into the phone. Hard on the mouthpiece, what's that? Kanziri. Don't know what that is? Like Branett? That's dark, isn't it? Not altogether. Facially, I'm Branett, madam. You should see the rest of me. Palm of my hand, soles of my feet are a peroxide blonde. Friction caused foolishly, madam, by sitting down has turned my bottom raven black. One moment, madam, sensing her receiver rearing on the thunderclap about my ears. Madam, I pleaded, wouldn't you rather see for yourself? So now here we see that the landlady is not at all convinced by the way the speaker is trying to explain about his complexion, whereas she just quits the call. So, what is that? She asked, admitting. I don't know what that is. It's a brunette color, he told her. That's pretty dark, isn't it? She asked. Not entirely, he replied. My face is brunette, but you should see the rest of my body, ma'am. My palms and the soles of my feet are the color of bleached blonde hair. Unfortunately, ma'am, all the friction from sitting down has made my butt as black as a raven. Wait, hang on for a minute, ma'am, I said, sensing that she was about to slam down the phone. Ma'am, I begged, don't you want to see for yourself? So now here we see that the narrator is literally pleading, asking the landlady not to quit the call, but asking her for a chance to meet once before making the decision. But she's not convinced because she is ultimately racist and she doesn't want to rent her place to a man who is of black origin. So now let's look into the themes. The main theme is racism and the complexity of identity. Telephone Conversation is a poem that satirizes racism. The speaker, who is black, makes fun of a white landlady who don't rent to speak the speaker until she knows whether the speaker's skin is dark or light. In contrast to the landlady's simple reductive ideas about race, the speaker suggests that race and identity are complicated and multifaceted. Judging a person based on their skin color, the poem argues, is thus ignorant, illogical, and dehumanizing. At first, the landlady seems ready to move forward with renting to the speaker, even telling him that she lived off premises. She can't detect the speaker's race through the phone. The speaker's identity is comprised of more than his or her race. That skin color is irrelevant to the speaker's suitability as a tenant. But when the speaker then makes a self confession about being African, the conversation abruptly shifts to a discussion of skin tone. Note that the speaker is being ironic in the use of confession. Here, a word typically associated with the revelation of something criminal to undermine the racist notion that being African is a bad thing. Clearly, the speaker understands how Black people's housing prospects are unfairly limited by a racist society. The speaker doesn't just criticize the landlady's blatant racism, then, but also critiques the way she thinks about race itself. In doing so, the speaker refuses to let the complexity of human identity be reduced by the ignorant choice of the landlady of that the landlady offers. For all the speaker's ingenuity, however, the poem does not end on a triumphant note. As the poem closes, the landlady is about to hang up on the speaker, suggesting that as a white person, she still holds the power in society to effectively silence the black speaker. So, here there is a small gist of the poem. Olusoyinka's telephone conversation is an eloquent exchange of dialogue between a dark West African man and his British landlady that inexorably verges on the question of apartheid. The poet makes use of the most articulate means to air his views, through that of a telephone conversation, where there is instant and natural give and take. It exhibits a one to one correspondence between the two. The interaction between a colored and a white individual at once assumes universal overtones. In conclusion, the telephone is a symbol of connecting people. It is a tool for communication, but here in the poem, it shows distance between two people and nation as well. Landlady represents first world country and black man represents third world country. Here we found Franz Fanon's concept of black skin and white mask. Thank you. Thanks for listening.